Hello, this is Pablo, and in today's video, I'm going to demo Swim on Cisco DNA Center. Okay, so Swim or Software Image Management, it's a way of providing automation for network administration, so we can streamline the upgrade process. So DNA Center will capture the intent, which is automate the device. And the DNA Center will then, on a single flow, provide that via automation. The DNA Center will also ensure that as you're uploading your images or importing them, it does some checks to make sure that the image that you're importing hasn't been tampered with. And during the upgrade process, you can do some validation checks for pre and post checks to make sure that there's no adverse effects on the network. As the upgrade cycle goes, typically you would go onto software.cisco.com. For that, I can just, for example, go onto the download section, search for my product, the switch that I'm interested in this particular demo, and download that image. We'll see then how we'll upload that into the DNA Center. You will then, from DNA Center, identify that image as the golden image. You will then select the devices that need to be upgraded. So DNA Center will compare that golden image against the devices in inventory and will highlight those that are not compliant. Depending on your internal processes, you will create and approve a change request. And then within DNA Center, we'll start the upgrade process. So that will include doing some pre-check validations, distributing the software, which is pushing the image onto the flash, and activating the software, just kicking off the upgrade. After the device comes back, we can do then, or DNA Center will do post deploy validations. You can then compare between pre and post to see if something changed. As part of that cycle of iOS XE cycles, release cycles, for example, new images will come along as the time passes. So you can identify new images that are that you can target for your network, import those, and start the process again. So let's go to the DNA Center GUI. First, let's log in there. And let's go to Design Image Repository. So once you download your image from software.cisco.com, you can import that in here, choosing your file from the local repository on your computer. DNA Center will take roughly 3 to 5 minutes to import that image, as well as do the trustworthiness checks. Okay, once that's marked as successfully imported, those images will show up here under imported images. So far I had uploaded, imported 3 of those. And the next step is then assign that to a set of devices or target devices. In my case, I'm selecting the 9300 switches, and I've already selected so from a global perspective, all devices in the network hierarchy. If I go back, then once you assign a particular device family to an image, that device family will start showing up here in this list. If I click there, I can see then the 1735 is currently marked as golden, but we're going to then upgrade our devices to 17.6.3. So I'm going to mark that as the golden image. Okay, so now we head back to the inventory. So there's a couple of devices in there. As we can see, DNA Center is already flagging them as needing an update. They're currently on 17.3.5, and distribution is pending, so the image is outdated. Looking at the device CLI, so there, if we do a show version, that correlates with what DNA Center shows, 17.3.5 as well. Okay, so we can start the process for the software image upgrade. And so we go to Actions, Software Image, and Image Update after selecting the two devices. So we're going to upgrade both of them. And you can get an upgrade readiness report, for example. So DNA Center will do a few checks in advance to make sure that the devices are good to go in terms of the image update goes. Click Next. First thing is the distribution of the image, and we can do some checks in there. And then the next one would be the activate. So you can do pre-checks before the distribution, post-checks after the activation. So DNA Center comes with some predefined checks. You can add your own by adding a new check in here. I'll just leave it as a default. And then the last step is then to schedule and cleanup. So typically you can do your software distribution as early as possible and schedule the activation, which is essentially the reload of the device at a later date, whatever your work window is scheduled for. Okay, right now I'm not worried with it's just a lab, so I can do both at the same time. And I want as well DNA Center to clean up after the activation, so delete any older images or files that are not needed anymore. Okay, so next we see a summary of the task, and we can hit submit then. Okay, once that's submitted, it will show distribution in progress. So this will update depending on what the what part of the process is in. But we can check the image update status page to see where we're at. So at present we have a couple of new workflows or new tasks in there. DNA Center is trying to estimate the progress for data upgrade. I can click on one of those and see a bit more what those tasks are. So there's a distribution task and an activation task. And then within each of those, you have a number of items that DNA Center goes through. Distribution will take several minutes. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video, wait for that to complete, and see what are the next steps. Okay, I'm going to pause now. I'm unpausing the video there, so it's moved on to 67%. The distribution has completed. That roughly took about 4 minutes. It's on the post distribution operation, checks on unpacking the images, etc. So now we're at the activation phase. So we're sitting there at the image activation. So we can check the CLI of those devices. So start the install activate. So we're good there. We're in progress. So I will pause the video and unpause when we get a bit more information. Okay, so that has moved on to 87% now. So we're at the removing inactive images on the activation phase. So the image activation took roughly 15 minutes and 23 seconds. This should take a minute, one more minute, and then we should be good to go. So from the CLI perspective, then we've seen we're here before, so it started to upgrade the microcode on the iOS XE. So that's this one over here. And it has upgraded, completed the microcode and reloaded the device. So that device has reloaded with 1763. And as you can see here, it's doing the completed install remove. So that's removing any previous images that were there from the previous software. Okay, so activation has completed. We can see as well from the checks what are the differences between the two checks. So we can check the spanning tree summary pre and post. So we see something bit of a change that has happened there. It's up to you to review if those changes are okay, as well as the CDP neighbors. So that's mostly related to the hold time on those on the output. Okay, if we go back to our inventory, we can see then our devices are marked as 1763, and they have been successfully upgraded. We do here show version and begin. So we have 1763 on two devices. We'll check border 2, show version. So 1763 on both of them. Okay, so hopefully that was informative for you. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out directly to me. Thank you very much. See you next time.